of Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024. I would like everybody to please rise for a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. I would ask our town clerk to please call the roll.
Supervisor Copa.
Here.
Deputy Supervisor Lavin.
Present.
Councilmember Berger.
Here.
And Councilmember Marinucci.
Here.
Councilmember Zuccalo is unable to make it. He has a family item to deal with this evening. I'm going to motion to adopt the minutes from Monday, August 19th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have one public hearing tonight. It's a continuation of Resolution 673, Street Lighting District Extension Miscellaneous Parcels. I'm going to motion to reopen the public hearing.
Second.
All right, on the question, I want to let everybody know what the process is going to be for this. So last meeting, we heard some people talk about their specific sites and why they may or may not still be in the lighting district. The process goes like this. We're going to adopt seeker findings this evening. We're up against the schedule with where we have to report all of the district to the county for tax purposes for 25. So we are compelled this evening to vote to put or to approve the public interest statement. Once we do that, it starts a 30-day period where properties can be removed if there are grounds to remove the property from the finding. So if you have specific questions about your property, we're going to ask those be addressed in the next 30-day period. But we are open in a public hearing this evening. And I will just say we have had a handful of properties that it would appear are not in the lighting district presented to us, even though they may look on paper as though they fall in that district. And so the board is working with our staff on those items. And we will be happy to address individual items as they come to us over the next 30 days. And I will first ask the board members if they have anything further they want to talk about on the record.
The only thing I'm going to add, again, sorry, I have a mask on. I can only project so far, is that although technically this is an extension of the lighting district, all but a handful of these properties were already placed in a lighting district. They just weren't included in the tax rolls for it. So this is really a correction, but legally it's an extension.
Are there any further comments in the, sorry.
Just to further on, there are no new lights being placed because of the lighting extensions. It's just to include parcels that are in the districts that have not been taxed previously.
Are there any further comments or questions from the audience? You can come forward. Again, I'm going to ask you to speak into the microphone for YouTube.
Tom Weisbeck. I just want to make it clear, just to clear it up. These people were not paying street lighting tax?
They have not paid a lighting tax up till now.
Okay.
They've paid the general town lighting tax, but they have not paid for a lighting district tax.
So like people, like I live near Wyeth, so these people on Wyeth weren't paying it.
That's correct.
Wow. A lot of money.
You're going to come forward, Dave.
Okay, David Gettert, 606 Long Meadow. I'm all for LED lighting. Where do I go to find out where my little property is on the new project?
Okay. So the lighting project as a whole is starting to wrap up. If your street has not been finished yet, if you contact, you could either email Councilwoman Berger.
Talk to me.
Thank you. But this is specifically for those properties that were noticed that they have not been in the district, but they should have been. Is there anybody else? Seeing none, I'm going to motion to adopt the seeker findings associated with the project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, I'm going to motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And next, I'm going to motion to adopt the resolution associated with the lighting district extension.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is Resolution 700. It's a seeker determination for 3880 and 3910 East Robinson Road, Z 2024-02. A motion to approve the seeker determination as it appeared.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 674 is the adoption of local law to amend the zoning map for 3880 and 3910 East Robinson Road, Z 2024-02. A motion to adopt that resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is public expression. I'm going to motion to open public expression at this time.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Again, I am going to ask you to speak into the microphone. Tom Weisbeck, you're first.
Well, first of all, I want to welcome Frank Belliati back. He's been gone for 4 months. He's been sick, so he's back on his feet. Okay, Tom Weisbeck, 48 Drawbridge. First of all, I wanted to ask you about 90 Dodge Road, not 50, 90. There was a new sign up there for a new project. So 50 Dodge Road is right down the street. So it's 90, if you can answer what's going on there. Secondly, I just want to remind you about Costco. There's 132 million members paying $60 a head just to be a member of Costco. So I just want to let you know about Costco. That's all. I'm going to bring that up until Costco's here. Secondly, I wanted to ask about the street lighting a little more. So these people are going to have to pay the taxes? That's what it is. Okay. So they have not been on paying it for years? So Niagara Mohawk wasn't, National Grid didn't know who they were, where they were? Oh my Lord. They lost a lot of money. Okay, so I had something else, but I'll let it go. It's summer, end of summer.
Okay. Frank Belliati, you're next.
Just before I start, is Mean Gene back at the Amherst Center? It's got an exercise program there that's famous, been there for 30 years. You don't know if she came back? Poor lady hurt her ankle. Canceled classes for a while. What I wanted to ask about was, since last year was such a surprise, the budget 111% over where it should have been. We've had reassessments and everything else since then. It came as a surprise later than it should have. It should have been information before year end. It wasn't. It's now September. We're 9 months into the year. I'd like to know where I think we deserve to know if there's any problems again with 24 or 25, because some of that, the districts have already been asked for information. So sewer and water and, other ones, the engineering people have been busy. Like to know, what kind of shape are we in? Are we in the same place as Buffalo, Lackawanna, and some other places that have trouble? Or have we resolved it, put in some hiring practice, don't take care of people who retired? Have there been any cost cuts? Have things changed? I think we're going to need information long before that process is over. It happens behind the fence. We'd like to know. We don't want to do this again next year. I think I can find something else to do on a Monday night.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Matt Plunkett.
Matt Plunkett, North Hill Drive. I want to comment on the Musical Fair Theater, and I was thinking the other day that it's here we are in September, which means in about 6 months the TV will be loaded with various award shows, or the Grammys, the Emmys, the Tonys, and so on and so forth, the Oscars. And the thought crossed my mind, I was wondering if there's an award show for disingenuousness, because if there is, I'm going to nominate the Musical Fair Theater for the PR piece they put on their website last Thursday to announce that they were pulling out of the plan to put the theater over at Westwood. And I want to say that for one reason. They talk about we are disappointed that the Amherst Central Park project continues to be stalled. Without critical town funding that would supplement our own funding efforts, it is not feasible for us to build a new theater. They were supplementing your efforts and our efforts, not the other way around. And for them to put it that way makes it look like, somehow or another, you guys went out on a political limb for that. Whether it was the correct thing to do or not, we'll never know. A lot of people obviously felt it wasn't, and it's not going to go forward that way. But for them to put it that way, that's an insult to the people of this town, and that's an insult to this board. I think it is, and I think it should be recognized as such.
Okay. Don Smith.
Good evening, town board members. My name is Don Smith, North Lawn. Hope you can hear me. One of the things I would suggest, given the fact...
Could you try talking louder so other people can hear
That's
besides
exactly what
us?
I'm going to talk about. Given that it's going to be very difficult to hear what we're saying, enforcing the 3-minute rule is going to be very difficult and problematic, given that you can't even hear what we're saying. So a little bit of leeway on that might go a long way tonight. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, not 5 minutes. I'm talking about 2024, 2007, okay? It's the facilities improvement, a facility study for BNHV. When I looked at the numbers, I was trying to figure out why $250,000 is good for a study that's going to probably last, frankly, I don't know how long. It's not going to take 6 months or 5 years to do the study, because that's what when you're doing a capital project, you got to be funding for a capital good. The question is this a capital good? Not necessarily the study, the results of the study, or the design product that goes with the study could be a 5-year sort of situation, given that they might be implemented. I presume there's going to be a bond that goes with whatever might be implemented off of this, whatever and if anything ever comes of it. So we have a study now here for $250,000. I don't really know where that number comes from or whether it's reasonable. I don't know who's going to do the study, but I presume it's in-house. I don't know who's going to do the design work. I presume it's in-house. Correct me if I'm wrong. I presume that the ban is going to be done sometime in June, or sometime in September, which means you're going to start spending money immediately, okay, on a study for the Buffalo Niagara Heritage Village. Okay, we now know the Buffalo Niagara Heritage Village can't put sheep on Amherst Central Park. Okay, we got that one. All right, so we know that there's some issues there. So we know there's money going to be spent. I found it very interesting. Are we going to be spending $250,000 on a study, or $50,000 on a study and $200,000 on a design. I don't know what the breakup of this is going to be. I'm interested in the details of this project and how it breaks out, how it works, who spends it, when it's spent, and what the product is and how it looks, and if the product satisfies the concepts of what CIP is. I assume you think it does. I like to satisfy myself that it does. Okay, so this is the days of where we come up and we trust whatever you say is going to be good. I don't think is here anymore. So we have to ask questions. It's our job. It's on us to do it, and that's why I'm here. So I want to find out if what you're doing makes sense and is a valuable thing for the town and its residents. Thank you for listening to me.
Okay, thanks, Don. I don't know if there's another list.
Dave keeps trying to talk.
I'm just gonna grab the next list. Forward, and then we'll continue with the list.
Alrighty. I am your neighbor, David Gettert, 606 Long Meadow Road. Apologize for moving slow to sign up. Okay, almost every paycheck from about May of 1973 to February of 2012 has been in some field of electricity or electronics. Truly an amazing number of jobs and things I've done. So let's talk about street lights for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, there was mention of yellow street lights. Those were the sodium vapor lights. Those were the latest, greatest a few decades ago. I used to work on them. So let's talk about LEDs, light emitting diodes. I've actually designed and constructed a few very simple LED circuits just for indicators. I've seen little red indicator LEDs on computer equipment flashing away for like 30 years without a problem. So one of the last things I did in the 13-inch, as I say, a truly amazing number of tasks I've done. One of the last jobs in a 13-inch bar mill, I was operating a crane for outside contractors. They were replacing 1,000-watt mercury vapor light fixtures with 550-watt, I think it was T5 LED fixtures. Guess what? The new 550-watt were way brighter than the old 1,000-watt mercuries. So if the presentation is this project will pay for itself within 10, 11 years, continue to save $3 million a year afterwards, I really have to believe it in a lot of my experience in, as I say, electricity, electronics. From what I know, I am really in favor of the new lighting project. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Dave. So we do have a list. I'm going back to Lori Ward. Are you Lori? Oh, so Mary Jane. So Lori Ward signed up next. I apologize. So I'm going to have Lori come up, and then I'll have you come up next. Okay? All right. Thanks.
Good evening. My name is Lori Ward, and I live at 3 Campbell Meadows. My question is in regards to the Boulevard Mall site. What's happening? In regards to J.C. Penney's, I've talked to people that have worked there, and they said supposedly with the new site plans, which have we seen the site plans? Are we privy to the site plans? Have you seen the site plans?
No, I have yet to see site plans. I suspect that the site plan is going to include the JCPenney site in it, but I don't know where you're going exactly with this.
Because the
So
people that work there are saying that there's going to be a road right through Penny's. So Penny's will have to either be relocated to somewhere within the Boulevard Mall site, or whatever we're calling it now that it's something new, or the possibility of them relocating, which they said will be at the Target Plaza. Now, who is paying for either rebuilding at the Boulevard Mall site or going to the Target Plaza site? Who is responsible for the new Penny's building?
I'm going to address all the questions at the end.
Okay. And can I have time for something else in regards to Costco?
Yep.
I'm glad Costco is coming in. I think it's great. I hope we get a tax revenue on it. I hope they're not getting free taxes indefinitely. I don't know about that. Also, I feel that the road needs to be increased before Costco comes in, instead of having major traffic jams and/or people getting killed, and the wear and tear on our police force. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Good
go ahead.
evening. My name is Mary Jane Zach, and I have been a resident here in Williamsville, town of Amherst.
Can you try and speak up?
Do your best. I'll try to repeat it.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Mary Jane Zach, Z-A-K. I've been a resident in the town of Amherst, village of Williamsville, since 1972. This evening, what's brought me here is regarding the 2025 budget, and probably most of my thoughts could be answered by Sean. And I'm sorry that Mr. Lavin, I'm sorry. So here's my question, because I would love to be a part of your team with the credentials that I do have that could be mentioned later. I'd like to know the meeting date, where is the location to be held, when, time, how many are allowed to be in the audience or a part of the review. We don't want to have the same situation as with the 2024. Believe me, I love living here, and I don't want to have my name in the negative column. So based on that, we're looking not to talk about the possibility of personal gain, but to in fact be sure that the residents who pay the taxes are being well represented in the amount that they pay per year, et cetera, et cetera. I'd like to see the line items with explanations so that the residents, the people paying for all of the perks, will understand why. And also not to have something just thrown in like a question mark or whatever needed, as needed. Please do not do that. So please allow me to be a part of your team. I'm also associated with the concerned citizens of Amherst. Of course, who wouldn't be? We're concerned. So I'm hoping that you'll accept me on your board to allow me to tell you what my credentials are, etc. Thank you all. And I'll just leave this here. Okay.
Okay. Anybody else?
Jane Cox, Harlem Road. We can't hear a thing. Air conditioning is blowing. Mics aren't working. People back there can't hear a word. So anything you can repeat that people are saying would be appreciated. Hopefully it's all going to show up on the video. This afternoon was even worse with the speakers not working. But this is ridiculous.
I agree. It was the whole amplifier. So.
Well, let's get it fixed. I wanted to talk about the resolution for the bond for the facilities study for the Buffalo Niagara Heritage Village. It's my understanding that the town owns the property, the town owns the facilities, and the museum itself is a 501c3 nonprofit. So you're asking for $250,000 to convert the Shaw Building into a record center for the town and all of the rest of the money is for a museum relocation facility study. So my question is, where are you thinking of relocating the museum to? On the property that we own out there, or to the Amherst Central Park property? Is the museum staying in place and you're thinking about building them a new building, or what's going on here? Before you approve it, could you explain it? Thank you.
I'm gonna answer questions as a way of trying to clarify what other people have said after this public expression and before votes. So I will. Okay.
So we can hear.
Yes. All right. Anybody else?
Jerry DeCosmo, Meyer Road. I just have a comment, or I just want to follow up on what the gentleman here said about the budget and what Mary Jane said about the budget. Are we going to have budget workshops? I know that she was alluding to that, and I've been trying to get that information for some time, and I haven't heard any real specifics about it. I know the law said something about public hearings, but again, those are one-sided conversations. You tell us, we listen. We don't get an opportunity to inject any information about that. So that is my only question. Are we going to have budget workshops about the 2025 budget? Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'm going to motion to close public expression.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm going to take all the stuff I've written down here. I'm going to start with 90 Dodge Road. I'm not sure if that's the property address. I think it's the what? No, I think it's the Muir Woods project he's referring to.
When you look at the pole, there's 90, that's the address.
Okay.
The sign is on the pole.
So
What does the sign say?
Call you guys to find out what's
Okay.
going on.
okay. So yeah, please.
Dan, can you speak into the microphone for YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube.
No,
YouTube.
needs you to
YouTube.
speak into the mic. All right.
That's fine. Just
It's not 50, it's 90.
90.
Okay, this doesn't work anyway, so I don't.
Yeah, but YouTube picks it up.
So there is a sign, there will be a sign on a pending planning action on a property either at 50 or 90 Dodge Road. They're pretty much in the same location. My belief is it has to do with certification of findings and amendment of declaration of restrictions to amend the Audubon Development Plan for reclassification of the properties. Reclassification in new community district essentially is equivalent to a rezoning action. So my guess is that's what the sign is about. The planning board heard this at their meeting in August, and there is a letter from the developer before the town board tonight to request a public hearing.
So there will be a public hearing on October 1st. I haven't seen the project yet, but apparently planning board has. Okay, regarding the street lighting, I think you clarified it in your statement, but yes, there were people where parcels had been subdivided or parcels had been created within the lighting district that National Grid has not caught over the years. Once we took ownership of the lighting district, we digitized our maps, put them into GIS, and found that there were parcels clearly in the districts that were not paying lighting tax or tax into the districts. And that was a process that we had to go through once we had ownership of the lights and were able to actually survey and place all of the lights. As far as the update on the 25 budget, so we have undertaken a lot of different items throughout 24 already to put us in a spot for 25. Your question about are we similar to other communities, we got out a little bit ahead of the curve last year, knowing that we had to correct for inflation from prior years, and seeing our projects kind of happen when they did. We are not going to be in the same position. I could say with some certainty that even at an early moment here, we will be under the tax cap. It's a matter of still whittling away. And I'm jumping here, but to Jerry DeCosmo's question of budget workshops, and to Mary Jane Zach's question about release of budget. So right now we're working with, we have one more fire district or one more fire department to come in. We have a couple more big item to work out the final insurance numbers and some items along those lines before we are ready to release special districts numbers, which are due on September 15th. So between the 15th of September and the first week of October is when we will be working. I will be working with staff to start to finalize the general fund and part-town fund budgets. And so I would suspect that if the deputy supervisor or any of the council members are interested in entertaining the types of meetings you're talking about, those would be times when there would be good enough information to take steps on. I know that right now we're heading in, it's just sort of the nature of how these things come together. We have some of our retirement information, not all of it. We don't have our insurance numbers or our projected sales tax numbers yet, but we are in very good shape in terms of our contractual and personnel lines, and based on what we did with last year, feel like we're in a very good space to start seeing some debt retire, and so I think we're in a good space. I don't know if that answered your question, Frank, but no, it's not. We're not in a spot like we were last year at this point. Well, we have public hearings scheduled in the beginning of October. So that would be the opportunity for public feedback, and then we're doing multiple public hearings, including one at the senior center, and we could talk about other opportunities that might come along. I'm not going to have special districts finished or locked in until the 15th of September, though. So at this point, I'm not in a spot where I could schedule, but once we get to the 15th, that next September meeting, we may have some more information on how we're going to try to do some more rollout. As far as the musical fair theater, I will just say that I would have rather them just pick a place than spend the time telling us that they weren't coming here. That's just my personal feelings on that subject. Regarding facility improvement study and the $250,000, so we expect there to be about an $88,000 study. Those are the sort of projections we have back, and reserving about $160,000 because we think there's going to be some design work that takes place after we do the study. Jane, to answer your question, and I'm sure that there's some people here who will be happy to hear this, but probably not a surprise, Niagara Heritage Village is going to stay in place. the board does still have to move archives in. If you've been up there, you'll know that we have created a clerical space where we have been moving some of our longer-term archive spaces, and there are building problems with the Shaw building. There's just some fundamental problems with the building. So we have to get after that. Once we do a study for it, our expectations are the amount of that building that are suitable for a true museum are going to change. They'll still occupy a portion of the structure, but we're going to have to do something. The building itself, it was a prefabricated building when it was put up. It does not have a 100-year life cycle. It's got to be modified. We have to do something. It may mean doing new building work up there. We're not sure. The first portion of that study will be to figure out what's happening with that building, and then we're reserving the second portion of that funding to try to figure out how to design a way to deal with it and where to go next with it. The Shaw building is accompanied by the Sherman building. Is that the name of it? I'm looking at Linda. I think it's Shaw and Sherman. No, it's Sean. What's the name of the glass? I can't think of it now. It's accompanied by another building where we've replaced roof and windows recently. That building houses some of our guilds, but we've done a lot of mold abatement before on that building. The building's just not very suitable for museum space. It's got a lot of glass, southern-facing windows, so we still have to figure out what's going to happen there, and we'll go from there. So I don't know if that explains the study enough. What? I didn't hear the comment, but so there's a lot of work that's happening, and we have to figure out exactly what is going to happen and how that building needs to be modified to accommodate. So that's my answer on those questions. Regarding the pennies, so the town is working. There was a site plan, and probably what Pennies is referring to is there was a generic site plan on the town website showing the urban renewal district plan that did not include Pennies as a building. There's an effort to work with the development community who will be in ownership of this thing, ultimately to figure out a site plan, and the site plan itself will change from what has been on the town website as concept before. Whether Pennies stays in place or not is really between Pennies and the private sector long term. Regarding Costco, Costco has no tax breaks associated with it. Once the building is valued by the town, they will begin paying taxes on the building or on the improvements right away within that time period, and it is fully taxed. It's retail. There are no tax abatements on it itself. Regarding road reconditioning, there is a CMAQ grant which the town has in hand that we applied for with the county for the intersection of Bailey and Maple. That grant, along with money that Costco has to spend into our mitigation funds for traffic mitigation, will widen that intersection, and there will be other changes to the street made by Costco during construction. So that is the plan, and that is fully funded. It is not town funded. It's grant matched by mitigation funds paid by the project. I think that's everything that I have. I'm going to continue with Resolution 702, which is the facilities improvement, facility study of B&HV. Oh, sorry, consent agenda. Almost forgot. I'm going to motion, so there is a consent agenda this evening. I'm going to ask the clerk to please read the consent agenda.
Councilmember Berger, 1. Town Attorney, 3-4. Town Clerk, 1. Comptroller, 1. Contract Compliance, 1, 2, 3, 4. Engineering, 1. Highway, 1. Human Resources, 1, 2. Planning, 1, 2. Police, 1. Youth and Recreation, 1, 2, 3, 4. Under Communications, 1 is consent. 2 is referred to Attorney and Police. 3 referred to Attorney. 4 referred to Attorney. Under Public Improvement Permits, 1 through 9 were all consent. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to motion to adopt the consent agenda at this time.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next item on the agenda is Resolution 702, Facilities Improvements, Facility Study of B&HV, a bond resolution in the amount of $250,000. I'm going to motion to adopt the seeker findings associated with the project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, I'm going to motion to adopt the bond resolution.
Second.
On the question, I'd ask the clerk's office for a voice vote, please.
Supervisor Copa?
Yes.
Deputy Supervisor Lavin? Yes. Councilmember Berger?
Yes.
And Councilmember Marinucci?
Next item on the agenda is Resolution 703, dedication of John James Audubon Parkway Extension, CRS 5038. As of this afternoon, we are still waiting for a correction on the force main. I believe we have received that. Okay. So I'm going to motion to adopt the resolution.
Second.
All in favor? Which brings us to the next item, which is Resolution 732, Public Improvement Permit number 3104, Sanitary Sewer Acceptance of Muirwood Site B, Audubon Extension 2005.008B /SP 2020-13, and it's regarding the force main. I'm going to motion to adopt that resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We do have a number of items that needed to be suspended in this evening. Some of them are Article 7 matters. We normally wouldn't suspend in an Article 7 matter, but we need to get the settlement recorded prior to school tax in order to report them correctly on the school taxes. I'm going to motion to leave the agenda for the purposes of hearing 6 suspension items.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The first
It's actually, I believe, 5.
The first item is the settlement of an Article 7 matter, patios of Windstone condominium versus the town of Amherst. Motion to adopt that as it appeared.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next item on the for suspension, is a settlement of an Article 7 matter, townhomes of Windstone condominium versus the town of Amherst. I'll motion to adopt the resolution as it appeared.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Third item is a settlement of an Article 7 matter for the villas at Windstone condominium versus town of Amherst.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next item is a purchase of materials for in-house fence replacement project, CRS 5044. This is fencing materials. I'll motion to adopt the resolution as it appeared.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next item is the acceptance of ownership. Oh, wait, we did this already, didn't we? Ownership. Okay, so, yeah, all right, so we'll not be suspending this item. And the last item is the lease termination with Musical Fair Theater Company. A motion to adopt that lease termination.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And with that, I'm going to motion to return to the regular agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm going to motion to open the second round of public expression.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody?
Okay.
If you want to come back up, come back up. We're in public expression now. Go ahead. I'm losing my voice.
I just want to ask a couple questions, Tom Weisman. One is, what's the COVID rate in Amherst? Do you know? Or COVID? You don't know? Is it high, low, medium? I mean, they're talking about more shots for people.
I don't know what the COVID rate is. I've heard the state is up in general, and Erie County is up, but I don't know what that means.
I know the nursing homes are up,
Okay.
so that's all I could tell you for a fact. Well, I went through COVID, so almost died from it, so I think I can ask about it.
Okay. I'm sorry, I don't know.
Okay.
Contact the county health department.
Well, I figure you guys might be up on top of this stuff. That's all. I mean, you look at all these people are here.
I don't
Okay.
know what the rate is currently.
What is it? Okay, they're saying that we're at low risk.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't know you could look it up myself. I'm not that good with that. Okay, lost my train of thought now. Okay, let me get back to it. So, back with all this money that all these people that weren't paying for years, I mean, that's going to add a lot of money to the town of Amherst. No?
I'll do it at the end. I'll do it at the end.
We're just going to get what they owe next year then?
It was covered by their fellow neighbors. The amount for that district was paid to the town and for the electricity. It just didn't include them when they divided the pie. So their neighbors covered their share.
Okay.
So it's not, we didn't lose money there. They just were paying nothing when their neighbors were paying more.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm just shaking my head on this.
Good evening, town board members. My name is Don Smith. Just want to let you know the reason I was concerned about that. The reason I was concerned about the 702 is that I know there was a project there. I just wanted to know how it was going to be done. Secondarily, I also probably as a result of this project's design study, there's an implementation process. I don't know, but that's going to take some money to implement, I presume, at some point in time. I do not know that you have that number right now because the design isn't done. That's the reason. But my question, are we talking a reasonably project that's sort of what we would be comfortable with normally, or is this going to be a bigger one? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And I know you're not going to come up with the number tonight. It's not there, but it's important. And that means we should be in support of what we know as soon as possible. I'm just trying to figure things out here, how the new system works, and what we're going to be coming up with. Secondarily, hopefully, we won't need as much security in the future. At some point, you're going to have to decide when you're safe enough to come into this building without it, and let us know when that time is. Because I don't particularly care to be looked on as a potential threat to you. It's not the way I like to be perceived by people sitting out there. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? I don't want to be that sort of person. I don't want that implication to be placed on us by your people up there. Okay, thank you very much.
My name is Lori Ward, and I live at 3 Campbell Meadows. There's two issues that I have right now. There seems to have been an awful lot of building. Muir Woods, John James Autobahn, and now on Sweet Home. And elsewhere, I don't even know, but I live in that area. Are we really concerned about our infrastructure to make sure all the pipes, our infrastructure is there and it's going to withstand what is going on right now? Or is our infrastructure going to fall apart and then our taxes have to be raised? Also, with the LED lights, they have to be maintained. What is the cost of the maintenance of maintaining these LED lights, and for how long are they going to last for? What is the outcome of that also? Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I'll do it after public expression. Is there anything further? I'm gonna motion to close public expression.
Second.
All right, we do have, I do have.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry. I do have to motion to go off agenda for the purposes of dealing with that suspended item, which we bypassed. So I'm going to motion to go off agenda again.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And if you could call that back up. So this one is on the town acceptance of ownership of the sewer facilities and maintenance fee agreement, which is what I think we were missing before, John James Audubon Parkway. I'm going to motion to adopt this resolution, including the therefore be it resolved the town board authorizes the supervisor to execute the attached maintenance fee agreement pending final review and approval of the interim town attorney and successful completion of the contract routing service, or CRS.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Now I'm going to motion to return to regular agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, I will, so on those last couple of questions, I don't know the COVID rate. Apparently, it's low risk at the moment. It is something that if people were interested in, we could resume putting back up onto our website. I can talk to our IT department about that. Regarding the building infrastructure, so part of what we've been trying to grapple with over the past few years has been infrastructure. As UB's grown, there's been more demand in Amherst. We know that we have infrastructure needs. We were able to take care of a massive sewer dilemma that the town's had on the books for some time regarding the West Side Interceptor through state funding. We have local match on that. We are doing a lot of work. The Niagara Falls Boulevard sewer is asbestos encased concrete. We are moving to try to bypass that. We're redirecting stuff up Bailey. In the CIP, when we release the CIP next year, there will be several upgrades to sewer treatment plant, including a rebuilt cryogenic facility. We have continued to do sewer lining and manhole rehabilitation. We have several water projects that are underway and more that will be coming our way over the next few years. And so we have been maintaining our infrastructure. We will continue to, and this year will be a big infrastructure year, CIP-wise. As far as the LED lighting goes, I'm a little in a precarious situation because we have an RFP due back for street lighting on Thursday, and I don't really want to talk about budgeted costs for that. I will say that in years prior, we had maintained a very heavy tariff with National Grid to maintain the bulbs that were in place. This is significantly less. It is not 7 digits. It's 6 digits. I don't want to go into specifics. Once we open proposals Thursday and we go to the next meeting, I will be more inclined to talk about where we suspect our maintenance costs to go. But there are some projections that that we have had in the past when we did the street light project to begin with, that showed significant decreases. It's one of the reasons why we moved the project forward. So, so the question is, why not create your own street lighting department? I think that if we were to do that, we would do it with multiple municipalities, not just the town of Amherst. But who knows where this will head. So, all right. So that said, lavender streetlights, yes. I will. So that said, I'm going to motion to adjourn the board meeting. I thank you all for your patience with the audio. Will be rectified over the next couple of weeks. Second. All in favor?